One of the revelations coming out of today's indictments in the Mueller investigation is that one of the goals, at least early on during the primary and then to some extent during the general election, of the involvement in our election was that they were obviously promoting Donald Trump and perhaps even more than that, opposing Hillary Clinton, but also at the same time, at various times, trying to boost Bernie Sanders and Jill Stein, which technically we already knew about this from the ads that BuzzFeed released, but some people are acting very surprised by this, and I have already seen editorials attacking Bernie Sanders over this. And he put out a statement today about these indictments, and he is being attacked for not specifically referencing the fact that some of the social media activity was benefiting him. Now, I have a response to that, but first I do want to read his statement. Senator Bernie Sanders said Friday that Russia's efforts to interfere in the 2016 presidential election and intent to get involved in this year's midterm elections, quote, has been clear to everyone except President Trump. And he said it is the American people who should be deciding the political future of our country, not Mr. Putin and the Russian oligarchs. It is absolutely imperative that the Mueller investigation be allowed to go forward without obstruction from the Trump administration or Congress. And so, like I said, some people who I'm gonna guess have not liked Bernie Sanders for a long time don't understand the difference between Donald Trump being helped by the Russians and Bernie Sanders to a much lesser extent being helped by the Russians, but there is a very big difference. Donald Trump has been trying to cover for these crimes for literally years now and has been denying that they even existed. Whereas Bernie Sanders from the very beginning has been outspoken in saying that we need to investigate and find out what happened, who did it. We need to indict anyone who might have aided those people or the people themselves, wherever they might be from. And we need to do whatever is necessary to make sure that it doesn't happen in the future. He has been outspoken. He has not attempted to minimize or distract from these investigations like Donald Trump has, which is why it is in no way the same thing.
It's almost as if one is a corrupt, self-dealing politician and the other one is an honest actor.
Like
Almost.
that. Like that.
Right. Like, for example, if Ghana decided randomly that they were gonna help the Young Turks, I'd be like, ooh, okay, but like if it's illegal some way, no, right? I didn't ask for it, right? That's different than psst, psst, Ghana, over here.
Yeah.
To pick a random country.
If you did a press conference where you literally asked for Ghana to hack the emails of some other channel.
Right, and of course the scope is very, very important here. Shao, tiny bit of help to Bernie Sanders, overwhelming support for Donald Trump. And of course it's politically driven folks who go, to Bernie, look over there, right? We don't like him either. So that, and Bernie's done exactly what anybody in his situation can do. Please go indict those people.
I think that's right, Cenk, and I think to add to it, I think the most disturbing thing that you see in Washington is Republicans trying to sort of muddy the waters on Russia, and the Democrats sort of, I almost want to say they're like aiding and abetting them in the muddying of the waters, right? So they released this, they released their memo, hashtag release the memo, and you read the memo, you're like, this has nothing to do with the Mueller investigation. And then the Democrats like, we need to respond to this. I'm like, no, don't respond to them, or just say, does this have anything to do with the Trump meeting, the Don Jr. meeting with the Russians about the sanctions? Yeah. Does this have anything to do with the fact that the president won't say that Russia engaged in our election? No. And I really feel like Democrats need to take a page out of like my old grandmother's book. We're just gonna watch and pray and wait, baby, and things are gonna happen. And Mueller, and that is exactly what Mueller is going to get to the bottom of this. He is the best prosecutor this country has, and he's gonna get to the bottom of it. It's gonna take time. But if we continue to sort of play this, if we get in the weeds with these Republicans, they muddy the waters, we only take away the credibility from Mueller and this investigation. Because we know now that the House investigation is a crapshoot, right? And we know the Senate investigation is close to a crapshoot, maybe one day shy of a crapshoot. So the only real investigation that matters, that has real power, is this Mueller investigation, and they're getting somewhere. And I think Democrats are missing this message over and over again. You don't hear Democrats at all talking about the fact that, didn't your national security advisor plead guilty? I mean, isn't your former campaign chairman indicted? Isn't one of your George Papadopoulos, wasn't he wearing a wire? Like, these are all things that are part of the investigation that Democrats miss when they talk about it. And so when Republicans make this argument is Russia, Russia, Russia all day, they're sort of right, because Democrats have lost the narrative, and they're over here, Republicans are like, look, fire, and Democrats goes, oh, let me get a hose. Instead of saying, there's no fire, here are the facts.
Yeah, and to that point, for the people, some of the Democrats who now want to blame Bernie because it's convenient, did anybody from Bernie's staff write a note to the Russians saying, hey, do you have information on Hillary? I love it. Did any of his staffers get indicted? Are any of them under investigation? No, you know why? Because they weren't actively looking for help from the Russians like the Trump campaign was.
Yeah.
So giant difference if you care about the facts. You just watched the video by the Young Turks, home of the revolution. If you'd like to get a lot more than that, get the full show by becoming a member. tytnetwork.com/join.